So any questions on the text? Because some of the important thing was, again, to me, why do this? I realized my students have to be able to read college level, authentic French resources in print and in audio. So that means not only do I have to give them practice using it, I've got to, or somebody's got to find this stuff to allow them to practice to do it. So, and suggestions how you do this, number one, you need to do this from day one. I teach 3 to 4 preps, maybe for lecture. Actually, I have 5 preps next year. I have French 1, honors French 3, honors French 4, regular 4, AP. So, but I try to do this as much as possible from day one. And particularly students that have iPhones or Droid phones, there are lots of apps on the show here that have French news, print as well as audio. And I suggest they put them on their phone and they just occasionally once a week look at them, see what can you recognize. Some of them, if they're into biking, maybe get a Tour de France, or many of them are into basketball. So last year with Tony Parker and the Spurs, we did lots of things on basketball. We'll find things on, so see later, they were fascinated with the Persuasive sloths. I never knew, I'm almost 50 years old, I never knew the French word for sloth before. When I found students that found a scientific article on the Persuasive and their habits, they were fascinated by this. But they find things that they're interested in. They find vocabulary. They do the work, I don't have to. And if it's something we like, we're going to continue doing it. So after all, most of them can't live without their cell phones anyway. They're with them all the time. Or they're on Facebook or social media all the time. Why not leverage it to our advantages as language teachers? So, suggestions for preparing the authentic resources, doing it from day one. I often with some of my colleagues, it's like first year is too early. No, it's the right time to get them used to it. Get them used to the fact they won't understand everything. Make them happy about the fact that they can understand how things and recognize things, and then build on that. Particularly with the persuasive essay, it's about a big picture. They don't have to understand everything. They need to get one main point, at least not a main source. If they get 2 or 3 to make it more complex, more elaborate, great. But overall, they need to identify one main idea to incorporate, integrate into their argument. So we start that from day one. What's the big picture? What is this interview about? What's this article about? Then look for detail afterwards. And build out from first year, second, third, fourth, fifth. The golf tour as well as I found to be very helpful preparing that week. As our school has been so because we have all of our students take it every year because particularly the listening to podcasts. So I can level 3, 4, and 5 is very good practice for it. And the students, they complain about it in March. But the AP students are really happy about it in May. That they've had that practice. And as well, practice tests. If you are an AP teacher, you've gone through the AP audit, you've got practice tests that are available through the AP site. So then, resources. As I mentioned on my website, I created largely so I wouldn't forget. I created a website that sort of became my folder or my drawer where I find websites. I would just create a website so I can find them later instead of just having them in my browser and then my students go there. Many media sites have their own websites as well as, besides having websites, they have apps that are available for Android, for iPhones, as well as Facebook pages or Facebook groups. So I've created and organized this whenever I find these photos here for my students to access, so that if they have an iPhone or a Droid, they can go there and subscribe. A couple of them will talk about what I use for Ramon, obviously, very good. I think it's on Télé5 also has a little info flash, where if you download the app, it has a 2-minute flash, which I found very good, particularly with lower level students, which is little 2-minute news briefs. They may not understand 2 or 3, but 1 or 2 maybe big world news events they probably don't know something about. And again, just play it quickly in class, or there's something to it. What were these stories about? There were 4 stories. What were the 4 about? First year, maybe they only recognize 1 or 2, but if you do this enough and get the book out of their mouth to where they'll understand it, like, well, okay, I understood 2 of the stories. 3 or 4. It was on the, it's the iPhone and the Android app for, I think it's Take a Sec Mode. And then once you're in Take a Sec Mode, it has several options, and one of them is Ample and Flash. And then it downloads little 2-minute videos of news items for the day.
It is fabulous. It's got little news segments, and it's divided into beginner, intermediate, and advanced levels. So you can do the same clip with 3 different level classes, and they can either do this online and email to you, or you can do it in class. It's wonderful for oral comprehension.
You don't usually like in our school, they don't want they don't want the Facebook or any of that. I'm trying to figure out a way to like that.
You just go online, put it up on the screen.
Right.
They can listen to it. You have they all listen to it through the air, and then you can print out the worksheet, and they can do that. Do it together, and then they can do in groups. It's fabulous. Very
Okay,
much.
double that again. If you doesn't want the app, you go search the website, turn off, and look for an app for Flash, and then go directly off the web. For this, I've done a lot more on mobile application because even in my school, they don't allow students to use Facebook on the school computers. Now, they all do it on their own phones, in the hallways or in the bathrooms or lunchtime anyway on their own. So that's why I sort of leverage this, where they're much less likely to go onto a computer and log on and decide to look at it. But if they got it in with their phone, they're probably more likely to look at a 2-minute video on the cell phone and do that anyway while they're getting ready for practice or waiting for the bus or sitting around doing nothing, as opposed to doing that. So it's multiple options. They can get it off the web, they can get it off of Facebook, they can get it off their phone, however I can get them to, whichever media they want to use, trying to get them to use it.
I was just to add to what you were saying, I know restrictions that we have not being able to use the internet somewhere, and some of them are blocked. If you talk to your school ECS, your schools that you're talking about, and explain that it is something related to the curriculum, you might have to show that exactly what you want to do with it, but a lot of times the ECS can go in and unblock those sites that you can access, even if it's just a temporary basis.
But the actual website is not blocked at all. The Stay Safe website is not blocked for any reason.
Sorry, that wonderful list of all the apps, was that from the AP Simple website?
No, that's from my website. So I have, you can go to the
So should I go to where, and you can look at that's open for us, and we look at it?
So at the very top of the handout that I gave you, it has my website, faculty.ignatius.edu/Turner. And then once you're at that site, there's a navigation bar on the left, and go from home to AP French Language and Culture, or technically it's faculty.ignatius.edu/Turner/AP French Lang. So that's why,
And that's all right.
yes, and that's why I gave you all the business of, if you find it, if you have any help, you can access it.
So how often are they on copies right now?
Once a week, and the APs, they're doing it twice a week. So I'll get to the habit of I have all my third year and above students doing it. First year I will continue on up, but my third, fourth, and AP students, it's a regular weekly quiz or weekly requirement where they have to either post or comment on another student's post once a week. And then for my APs, in the second semester, they have to do it twice a week. So they have to post something on their own, and they have to go back and comment on somebody else's post every week. And I give them a 10-point quiz, like 10 out of 10 if they did a good job. It was mostly French, 9 out of 10 if it was good, but they screwed up. Most often they don't use the subjunctive well. That's trouble that it's using the subjunctive is often one of the key aspects. There are 8 if it's understandable, but bad, or if they forget to put it in an AP theme. Or some of them create a 7th or 8th or 9th or 10th AP theme. That's not one of the 6 official themes.
I love the thing, and then, okay. There's like very, good job.
Go to that column where sort of why is that a team?
Okay.
Yes.
Do you have, like this summer, I'm having my incoming AP students do a vlog, and, oh, we're doing it summertime. It's just like, they have to post something every 2 weeks. So actually this weekend is
jumps out and they get 7 out of 10,
Yeah.
which in our school becomes a D, about the lowest passing D. They get a couple of 7s, I get a lot longer, more involved, more accurate responses. So before I translate, it needs to be this one, and students have to get way too into that, and I get a lot of crap. That's not, it's just, I want something good. I tell them that the idea is they're supposed to prove to me that they've actually read or listened to the video, that they've read the article or listened to the video. So I don't want plagiarism, and I don't want Google Translate. So again, select an article, place it in there, and find the one big idea, and place it under a theme and one. And then when they're commenting to the other students, they're to elaborate, mention additional information, or discuss their placement, which I'll show you. We'll take you to that sort of examples, what they do and how they do them. But largely, I want them to practice the AP type activities. Find authentic resources or authentic videos. Identify the main point. Do you agree or disagree with it? Your opponent, your reading, this way to say, then other students to comment, they agree or disagree.
Yes, did you say that you asked students to get a separate identity on Facebook?
No.
You don't, they put it on their regular Facebook account?
Yes.
And then the teacher would get a separate identity to, or
No.
it doesn't matter?
No.
You do-
I created a Facebook group. So the students, as show they sign up for a group. I don't have to be friends with them. They are friends with me. They sign up to the group. And they, in the group, and there's the different settings. I have the group open so that everybody can see it, not only members can subscribe. There's open, there's secret, they're closed. But I have the group now is open, so anybody in the world can go through and see it. You can go and look at it, see what the students are doing. But they have to ask to be a member of the group, and I'm the one who approves. When I only let my students in, and I'll talk about the DNY. I went back and forth as to whether I was going to open it or not. I eventually decided just to keep it to my own students because it's kind of a little too big with 4 classes. If I had other students in other schools, it would be a little too hard for me to search and keep track of what students are doing. But parents can go and see what's going on, but only members of the group can post. And the reason I wanted them to keep their own identities and not create another is that by joining the group, and once they like the pages or groups that are on here, news articles automatically show up in news feeds. So they don't have to go looking for the audio or the video or the articles. They come to them whenever they log on Facebook, like anything else that they like. It's leveraging what they're already doing. Once they log into Facebook, in addition to seeing their favorite bands or their favorite foods, they'll see French coming out.
How do you separate it by levels?
I don't.
Oh, so how do they know which one they should?
They don't, I don't care. And particularly if the Honors 3 students are going to be taking AP, my Honors 3 last year will be an AP this year, so they'll just keep doing what they've been doing. And sometimes it becomes a little competition thing where I want sometimes the seniors to smack down some of the juniors when they make mistakes and the juniors to show off. It's French is French. At that point in level 3, it's any student can comment on anybody else's. I take a little bit into consideration that the 4s will probably do better than the 3s, but there's a little healthy competition in that sometimes.
Sorry, I have a basic question. They have to change the language of their Facebook to French?
No.
Do we all have to change that? Okay, do they have to change the language of their phone to French to comment
No.
effectively?
And when I don't count accents to make it easier for them. If they're on a computer, I don't count accents. I just tell them to type. Don't worry about the accents. If you want to, fine. Although from tablets and phones, it's a lot easier where they can just press and hold it, and the accents are easier. But I don't hold them accountable for accents because it can be a bit of a pain. I just
Okay, so all the languages, American English, it's all in English.
Right, they keep the settings for everything else, and they just type in the box in French. They can if they want to, but I've done it. I find it awkward, and I feel so.
You don't want the accents to get in the way. You want them to be able to interact with the French and express their opinion and smack people down or whatever. But it's in French, because this is the actual community using it in real.
And it's fun, because we sort of have the same issue in our school where we have multiple networks in our school where students can't access Facebook on the student network. We as faculty can. So sometimes once a week or once every couple of weeks, I'll connect my computer or laptop to the faculty network and connect it to the smart board and show them what they've written and say, well, this is good, this is bad, and sometimes happening. You guys put in the accents. Just sort of, and that's also a review where I can show off again. This is a 2-word response. This is not acceptable. I don't want to see this anymore. So also shaming. Also this is support, giving some encouragement. This was a wonderful response. I want to